And we can take care of his people, the church, can't we? Every one of us, whatever life stage we're at, whatever gifts we're at, we are a body that God has enabled to serve one another in love. So there is so much good that the Lord wants us to be doing. And we can see in verse 8 as well that Paul did this on top of doing what he needed to do to support himself. He says, "Nor did we eat anyone's food without paying for it. On the contrary, we worked night and day, labouring and toiling, so that we would not be a burden to any of you." We know from elsewhere in the New Testament that Paul often did paid work as well to support his mission trips. So I think we've said before, but we're told that he made tents. They were needed by the Roman army, and so there was a good market for tents in those days. These days they're just used for camping trips, aren't they? But in those days, being a tent maker was quite a good way of earning a living, or at least a reliable source of income, perhaps. And it seems like in Thessalonica, in particular, at least some of the time that he'd been there, he'd been doing some paid work in order to support himself, support Silas, and support Timothy. And what he was doing wasn't easy. We see in this verse, don't we, that he is working night and day, so that he could both do whatever paid work he was doing that he needed to do to support himself, but also so that he could share the gospel with the people in Thessalonica and care for those that had turned to Christ. And it involved labour and toil, we see here in verse 8. And many of us will know about this, won't we? We'll know about how hard it is to do whatever it is we need to support ourselves during the week. And then on top of that, to seek to be people that care for our community and care for our church. But this is very realistic, isn't it? About that this is tough and it's not easy. Labour and toil are the words that he used to describe the way that he served God in Thessalonica. And often what we hear in our media or maybe in your workplace or wherever is quite unhelpful about this, isn't it? People talk about finding their job. That's going to be the fulfilment of your dreams. And don't get me wrong, the Bible does commend us finding enjoyment in work. Sometimes work can be satisfying, can't it? Sometimes it can be very fulfilling and rewarding. But actually, and perhaps more often, our daily experience of doing our work, and even for other Christians, is one of labour and toil. It's hard. It's maybe not what we would choose at that particular moment. Paul knew all about the hardships of having paid work. And it's tough, isn't it? You need skills to make yourself marketable. You need people to buy whatever it is you're trying to sell. Sometimes the work dries up and you need to find a new job.